Hi, everyone. This is Liz Hyde, and you're listening to Carolina Hoop Scoop. So glad that you came back. This is the second part of our interview with Mike O'Koren, who played for Carolina back in the late 70s, was an All-American and a great player. He'll talk in this part about Dean Smith, being at Carolina, and then his subsequent NBA career. We hope you enjoy it. Again, this is Liz Hyde with Carolina Hoop Scoop.
Talking about Dean Smith, and the fact, I always think, he's been gone 6 years now, and unfortunately died on your birthday. And what kind of impact did he have on you, both in the game and then as a person? I know there's a lot. I'm sure you could write a book, but
yeah, Liz, he was just such an intelligent guy. About coaching the game, he was none better, in my opinion. But he taught you the whole game. It wasn't just about scoring. It wasn't just about defense. It was about everything. It was about practice habits. It was about discipline. You just got better. Every day you were out of practice with him, you walked out, you were a better player, and in a sense, a better person. And then you really got to know him more after you graduated. And I did get a chance to play 8 years in the NBA, which was a lot of fun. And I would get a letter or a phone call from him about he saw this game, or you do this. And then I became a coach 10, 11 years. And you call about, make sure you do your late game situations, and then he would just talk about your family. If you had children, or how's your brother doing, or how's mom, and all that. It's just a fantastic human being. I mean, there's really no words to describe him.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Way more than a coach, obviously.
Oh yeah, oh yes.
That's awesome. And then I thought it was so touching when he died about giving his former players a check.
Oh, thanks for that.
I know, really. Honestly, it's true. That it just makes him stand out even more. But I'm so glad you had an opportunity to play for him. And I remember reading somewhere that he thought you were the funniest player he'd ever had.
Well, see, I grew up with some characters in Jersey City, so and they came down, and when I was down there to games and stuff, and they were just, these guys were hilarious. I mean, and I learned a lot of that type of stuff from them, and I kind of just, no one ever, some of the things we did.
Did you ever do impressions of Dean at all?
No, I could do that like that, but it's not any good. But, that voice, that kind of squeaky voice, whatever.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. When was the last time you actually saw him?
I saw him maybe about, when all the years come together. They brought everybody back for a reunion. And I saw Coach Smith. No, I'll tell you what I did. I was with Chelsea, and we lived in Virginia because I was with the Wizards, and we took a ride down. Coach Williams invited me down to see a Virginia game. This has got to be maybe 2009. And we went to dinner afterwards at over by the football stadium, Liz. It was like an alumni center or something. And it was Coach Smith was there with his wife, and Roy was there with his wife, and James Worthy was there. These old guys came back. Bob McAdoo was there. Bill Chamberlain was there.
Yeah.
And Coach Guthers and his wife were there. And it was just, it was great. It was great just to see everybody. And tell Chelsea one day, you're not gonna understand who's at this dinner this night. It was like Hall of Famers. Billy Cunningham was there, but she never really got into sports, so she really never cared.
No, that's funny. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Well, so then for your post-collegiate career, you were drafted in the first round, right?
Yes, New Jersey, which was coming back home.
That's awesome. Was that where you wanted to go, obviously, I would think?
I never really thought about it, Liz. I just was thrilled to be able to be drafted.
Yeah.
And wherever I went, I was going to try to give it my all, and that was that. It happened to be New Jersey, and that was home, and it worked out pretty good. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
You played until how long?
I played 8 years in the NBA, from 80 to 88. and did broadcasting, and then got lucky and got into coaching for 11 years. 10 or 11, almost 11.
That's great. Did you ever have any aspirations of being a head coach?
I never really did. That seat will turn you gray. Will get you old. I liked being an assistant.
Yeah.
You know, I worked as hard as I could. Trust me, but I did have a chance. A couple times, some of the head coaches either got thrown out or they got sick, and I had to coach the game. You know, consecutive games at one time. It's a heck of a job.
I imagine so, and I imagine all the other stuff that goes along with it, you know, that you don't see necessarily.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So you got your degree from Carolina, right?
Yeah, recreation administration.
Okay, yeah.
I did graduate in 4 years. Summer school helped. I did go to summer school twice.
That's great. That's awesome.
So I lowered my hours, my senior year. And I was very proud of that. Coach Smith promised my mom that he would graduate.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I couldn't let her down. So,
that's right. That's great. I'm glad. I'm really proud of you for doing that. And so many
most
others.
of them did, Liz. If you think about it, now forget now because you only come in for a year or two.
Right.
A lot of the players, but back in our day, 90+% of Coach Smith's lettermen graduated.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. He was proud of that too.
He was. Well, he was the son of educators, so I'm sure that was very important to him. And I know that he used that as a tool with parents, as recruiting, that he would, see to it. And I think it's wonderful, and I'm proud of you for going through with that and all.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, did you enjoy the broadcasting part of your career?
I loved it. I love broadcasting. You go. I would say in the NBA. As a broadcaster, you go 82-0 every night you won.
I like that. Yeah.
So it was fun describing the game and talking about it, doing some interviews. Michael Jordan treated me like gold. I have to admit. One time I would do the halftime show, and when Chicago came into town, I go do an interview with Michael. He's great. I had met him several times over the years, and he did it. He was fine. And knucklehead I am, it was one of those Marantz back then, and I didn't press the record button.
Oh no.
So I go up to check, right, and it doesn't work. What do? I go down there and ask him, and guess what? He tells me, no problem. He does it again. Wow. That's the type of guy he was. Still is.
Awesome. That's a good story. That's a good story. Are there any players like Michael that you would have liked to have played with?
I tell you what, I would have. If he came on a couple of our teams back when I played, practices might have been better than the games because we were competitive, and he is as competitive a guy that there ever is. And Coach Smith would have had to calm down the practices because they would have been brutal.
I believe it. I saw Michael playing ping pong in the basement of Granville, and he was just as competitive with that, he was on the court. So
he's an all-timer with that, and at 6'6" and as thin as he was, we probably could have handled him a little bit. He's got big and strong, then he would have been impossible like he was in the league. But as a freshman or a sophomore, still thin and everything, we could have got some shots in on him,
Yeah. What other players do you think you would have liked to have?
I do wish I played 1 year with Worthy, but James broke his leg. I don't know, 15, 16 games into the season.
Yeah.
And we were really good. And when he went down, we took a ride south then. He was that good. Like we talked about, I loved that play with Mitch Kupchak, as big as he was and as strong as he was. And I got to know him as a friend. There's a lot of guys that are like, I'm so glad I got to play with Phil and Walter.
Oh, yeah.
They make the game so easy. I mean, if you were open like an inch, Phil Ford got you the ball, and on the other end, Walter, he was so good. People were always looking to double team him.
Yeah, that's a shooter.
They made the game so easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to tell you, Phil is one of the ones that is on Carolina Hoop Scoop's site, which is really cool. And he makes comments once in a while. And when I posted about your birthday, his comment was, great player, great man, great friend.
Oh, yeah. That's it. I get and right back to him.
Yeah.
Phil Ford was the best teammate you could ever have in your life. I mean, in all facets.
Yeah,
in practice, in the games, in the locker room. I mean, this guy he knew what to do, and he did it well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, do you ever still play or shoot hoops or anything? Or?
No, I haven't played. We used to play. Just get together with a bunch of like old friends, and some were retired police guys, or they were still on the force, and we'd go down to Jersey Shore and play against guys from the shore area. We would get some good games. We'd go to 80 points by ones. But that was like a good 20 plus years ago when I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
And then, you'd go out and have a good time afterwards. But that's about the last time I played was 20 plus years ago.
Yeah. So if you could have done anything else other than basketball, what do you think would have been your career path?
Well, if I never played hoops, I probably would have gotten law enforcement. Always big supporter of law enforcement. Maybe a policeman or something like that. Or if it was another sport, like we talked about before, I probably would have gotten into baseball. I always loved baseball. So that would have been two paths I might have tried if I didn't start playing basketball and go to the next level with it.
Yeah. So do you keep in touch with some of your buddies from back then?
Yeah, it's easier now. Like I'm not into social media. We did discuss that before.
Yeah.
But via texting, it's so easy now. Guys will just like Jeff Wolf the other day. I just said, Jeff, what's going on? How you doing? He texts back. Everything's good. Family's good. Things like that. You know. And then really with Dave Colescott, John Virgil, and Richie Honecker and Jeff Wolf, who were the guys. We were all freshmen through seniors.
Yeah.
And they were my best friends, and it's always great to hear from them and talk to them.
I bet that's what I was thinking, that you guys were the closest, probably.
Yeah, that was great. The last game, our home game, and we all started.
Wow.
It was good, and we wound up really crushing Duke that game. We wiped them out.
That's
we wiped them out.
Yeah. That's awesome, Mike. Okay, well, let's just finish with a couple of little trivia things. You said you've been married for how long now?
Oh, a lot of years, since 1985.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And what's your wife's name?
Angela.
Angela. And how did you guys meet?
We met when she worked for the Nets when I was playing, and we kind of met that way. And then she left the job, and then we sort of stayed together and made it work. And that's that.
That's awesome.
A long time now.
Yeah, that's great. And children?
Just Chelsea. One child. She's 26 and a pediatrician.
A pediatrician. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I knew that she'd just become a doctor. That's awesome. That's really good.
She's in her first year of residency, I guess.
That's great. And does she live near you?
She lives in Philadelphia, and we live in about an hour and a half, hour and 50 minutes away.
Yeah. Okay, just some trivia questions. Do you have a favorite meal, kind of thing?
Favorite meal?
Mm-hmm.
Probably lasagna.
Yeah. Favorite type of music?
The Rolling Stones, the Eagles, I guess, and then the oldies, like 60s music.
I know, I hate to say it's the oldies, but...
Well, the oldies, it can be different for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, the Four Tops, the Spinners, guys, Johnny Maestro, Johnny Maestro, the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
That type of music, yeah.
Okay. And what would you say are some of your hobbies, things that you do? Because are you retired now, Mike?
Yeah, I'm pretty much retired. Yeah. I guess to make you laugh, my best hobby right now is walking. I could literally walk around a track at the field like 20 times, and people think I'm nuts, but that's what I do. I like to walk.
That's
That's a good hobby for me right now.
Certainly, of course it is. And especially in the pandemic, you can't do a whole lot.
Yeah, can't do a whole lot right now. That's true.
So where'd you get your sense of humor?
Oh, boy. Probably from my sister. I'm a lot like her. And I have to give a lot of credit. I'm not credit, but a lot of influence for the guys I grew up with. Everybody was happy. We didn't have much money and all that, but we got along, and we just had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
like I said, I look at life half full instead of half empty.
Yeah. I definitely see that in you.
Yeah.
Now, are you still living in New Jersey?
Yeah. Live in New Jersey in Bergen County, which would be about 30 minutes north of where the football stadiums are and the racetrack.
Okay.
I don't know. Are you familiar with New Jersey?
Somewhat.
Yeah. I mean, to get to Midtown Manhattan would be about 30 minutes.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
And let's see. I know that you have accumulated through your time, both with high school, college, and NBA. I'm sure you've gotten a lot of memorabilia and trophies, awards, things like that. Do you keep them in a certain place?
No, I really don't, Liz. I really, if you walked into my house, you would not know that I played ball.
Is that right?
Was involved. Yeah, there's nothing on walls, there's no pictures. I kind of that was part of my life, and that part ended when it ended, and that was that.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking about it, like we're having a great discussion now. But you would never know if you came into my house that I was a basketball player or a basketball coach.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. You kind of compartmentalized it then.
It's in the closet, some of the stuff, but it's not like shown.
Well, you did come up with the Dean Smith way, and he was a lot like that, I'm sure, too. He's a very humble man, and the accolades never meant much to him. He always pointed to the team,
Exactly. That's how I think a lot of the players that played for him think the same way.
Yeah, probably so. So we talked about the three words to describe yourself back in college. What would you say you're like now?
Oh, just calm, cool, and collected.
Except when you're watching a game, right?
No, you know what I am right now, Liz? I'm boring. That's what I am.
Well, you know what? I think
that's my description.
Good.
I'm boring. And I hope a lot of people that knew me in college would say, "Oh man, there's no way he's boring," but I'm boring now.
I bet if you got to talking with your old buddies, you'd be anything but boring.
Maybe if we got reunited, had a couple of those, maybe we would act up for a while. But we won't recover as quickly, though.
That's a good one. Well, Mike, I really appreciate the time you've given us today, and
no problem.
Your fun and honest answers. It's for a fan, a lifelong fan like myself. It's really interesting to hear the player side of things, and some of the inside stuff that we weren't privy to. Because we've grown up loving Carolina hoops, and like I said, when you were there 4 years, we got to know you kind of, and so it's really good to catch up with you and learn what all that meant to you and everything too. And
well, thank you. It's you're very nice. You have my number. You want to reach out again, it's no problem at all.
Well, thank you so much. And we're hoping to continue to do this sort of thing with some former players. Who do you think we should interview next, Mike?
It's whoever we can get. There's so many of them. The thing is, you can go to the era now. You can go way back.
Yeah.
I did read a book about Larry Miller, who I never met in my life, and he had a book come out, I think Miller Time, and it was great. Matter of fact, it reminded me myself on a few things, but you can go all the way back to that. There's so much. The Carolina family is so big, and everyone's good about things like this too. I would think.
Well, and it's fun to look back on all this.
Exactly.
Even though you don't have that out, where you could see it, you did experience it, and those were great years, and they were great years for us as fans too. And and here we all are still fans after all this. But anyway, we do appreciate it. I wish we could get you on social media just a little bit, but I'm
going to talk to Chelsea about that.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you'd really enjoy it. I think it'd be a hoot for you now when you're not doing your walking. So.
Right.
All right, Mike. Well,
enjoyed it.
We'll really appreciate it. You take care, and
thank you. You too.
Thanks for listening to Carolina Hoops Scoop.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So hi, everyone. You've just finished listening to the second part of our interview with Mike O'Koren here at Carolina Hoops Scoop. I love talking to Mike. He's so easy to talk to and a terrific guy and sense of humor. We really give him a big thanks for being willing to be our very first former player interview here at Carolina Hoop Scoop. So if you have a favorite player, former player, that you'd like to find out more about, let us know. We hope that this is the start of many interviews to come. And as always, thank you for listening to Carolina Hoop Scoop. I'm Liz Hyde. Go Heels!